Good evening, Mountain West Council. My name is George Thomas, and I want to say thank you for joining us for the summertime roundtable. Our discussion topic today is going to be unit planning for recruitment to help make our units stronger. To set a little tone on this, I would like everyone, if you could, to put your name and your role within your unit in the chat box, and we can get started on that. I'm going to dump in a few items that will be used later for our discussion point when we get down to the brass tacks. Today's session, we really want to get to helping units actually plan and do real things of value. Hi, Steve. Thanks for joining us. So we're just going to kind of jump in and kind of go slow. If you guys have questions, please raise your hand, and I will get to those when applicable. Okay. So I always kind of like to say that if we fail to plan, if we don't have a plan, then we're planning to fail. So what we want to do is we want to talk about our overall comprehensive plan for the annual plan for the unit and identify recruitment strategies for any level of scouting, regardless of whether it's troop, pack, crew, even explorer posts, provided it's not a violation of guide to safe scouting. There is no wrong time to invite friends to an activity. But it also provides opportunities for us to identify the specific opportunities to tailor for packs, crews, and posts. And then ultimately, we're going to try to equip you guys with a planning document for you guys to be successful in your planning moving forward. So the annual plan is a year-long process, and I've got a lot of resources here. So I see that we've got a troop. So I'm going to talk to a little bit about some of the troop resources here. So I know I've got a couple committee chairs. So the presentation will be online. It'll be on the website as well, but I wanted to kind of go through this. At the troop level, since troops are typically youth led, these are the activities. Give me a thumbs up if you can still see the screen. It says annual planning. Perfect. Thank you, Steve. Um, so these are a lot of links that can help the troop with the annual planning, because again, at the troop level, it's youth led. We really want to help provide those opportunities. So here's the preparing for the annual conference, the annual planning conference. These are all assets that the youth have this second as you come in. So it talks about these things. This is a real quick checklist for the youth to prepare for them to be successful with the planning. These are some resources for pack planning. I see we've got Deonda here who's a new member coordinator for PAC 97. And this is some of the resources that are online for the PAC committees to go through Guide to Safe Scouting, some information about the roles. And you've got scouting apps, and then here's some resources on PAC budgets, consent forms, camping charts, and some other items. So these links are alive and viable for everyone to use. And this last one here is what I find to be really kind of fun, particularly when we're talking about Cubs and planning their annual plans. This gives you guys kind of a full year of what scouting can look like. And these aren't all of the events, and some of these may be slightly dated. I didn't check the back door on when this page was actually updated, but we've got a couple Cub Scout joint activities. The reason I say it's a little bit dated is because I used to do a bear event called the Bear Carnival. I do not believe that is a current activity or current adventure in the bear program, but it doesn't mean you can't have a January back to school carnival or things of that nature. They've got a lot of rain gutter regattas, space derbies. Again, space derbies aren't necessarily something that we support wholeheartedly. But it's got February. February is a lot of blue and gold and a lot of AOL crossover. And this is really where the troops start to tie in. If you're a troop that has an associated pack and you're not the blue and gold, you're really missing out on opportunity to help with the units. Again, blue and gold, Pinewood Derbies. I think everyone does Pinewood Derbies. I've seen some folks, not mentioning anyone's name, but I've seen sometimes where they have the unit leaders dress up like Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights, and they really try to ham it up and have a lot of fun with the youth. You've got like a bicycle derby or a bicycle roundup, a rodeo here, Easter egg hunts, particularly if you have a service for your church. You have your charter partner is a church organization. It'd be a great opportunity to see if they would like the unit to host an Easter egg hunt to bring youth and families into their organization. So there's a lot of opportunities, and this is a fun link here that is a great opportunity to plan. So why is it important? Well, it attracts and retains members. If you don't, I look at the summertime as put the outing and scouting. So we got to be out in activities. Ensures that our um, ensures that our unit activities align with the goals and mission. If we're at the pack level, there are opportunities for the youth to earn um, summertime advancements. If you're at the troop, this is where we go to summer camp. This is where we get a lot of those merit badges and such. And also promotes the youth leadership and development, and facilitates effective resource management. Because I know that I have sat down many a time and go, and I'm sitting there looking, writing down names. Who's the adults that are going? Who can drive? Who needs rides? And it's just a lot of that, as I call it, kind of the origami of a camp out. So this is kind of like this is like the basics of getting some plans done. Okay. So this is going to be, we're going to get a lot of words here, but we're going to kind of get to a relevant point here in a minute. So the key steps to planning, we have to know what we did last year. So gathering the past year's calendar and evaluations. Units do, roses, buds, and thorns, or they do stop, start, continue. They do a lot of things that say this was a good event. This was an event that we could improve on. This is how we can improve. Collect input from the youth and the parents. If you keep doing something and no one's showing up, maybe that's a signal that we should be doing that event again, because it's not really things that are engaging to the youth of the families. You've got the opportunities for what's going on with the council and the district events. And most importantly, particularly when we start talking about our community, our schools and recruitment, you want to check the school calendar and the community calendar. So set specific goals. Whether you want to go on outings every month at a troop level, or if you want to have a number of new adult leaders come in, or if, knock on wood, you want to have your troop or your pack have a new member coordinator. Hint, hint. That's the next month's or next week's training. Well, 2 weeks from now, that's training on that. And Deonda, I will reach out to you specifically about that. But we want to have specific goals. So, like I said, increase membership, achieve specific advancement goals, participate in service projects. Develop a calendar. So at the cub level, it's like, what's the lion, tiger, wolf, bear. I know I went backwards on that. No, actually, it's the right way. Webelos and AOL calendars kind of align those, because the way that the program is now, it's an opportunity to have cross the month. Everyone's doing an outdoor program, or they're doing a hike or something like this, and every den can do those things and have alignment. So if you don't have all of your unit leaders, that you may have to have a lion and a tiger den combined. Then you have the leaders, they're kind of doing the same program, so it really helps to align with that from the program standpoint. And it's always consider what everyone's needs are, consider what's kind of feasible, because you're not necessarily going to go on a hike as a Cub Scout in December. not in Idaho. Okay, probably going to be cold and snow, but in Florida, it may be a different story. Um, so the next steps for the key items: assign responsibilities. Who's going to do what and when? For at the troop level, this is really an opportunity to help the youth, empower the youth to do this. I found this fun calendar here online, and it's editable, and it seems like it's going to print on one page. It's in a spreadsheet that you can legitimately just get to one page. Come on now, there you go. And units can come in, and you can edit it and kind of look at this. Deonda or Katie, when you guys are talking to new families, how important is the calendar of events for what are you guys doing?
I know for us, it's one of our number one recruiting tools. When we do a join night and we hand families the calendar for the year, it not only says, hey, we are organized, we know what we're doing, but it's also really helpful because families are able to look ahead, plan ahead, take work off. We have higher engagement at our activities because everybody knows it's coming. And then all we really have to do is put reminders in our preferred discussion method or communication method. But all of our members and our prospective members understand, hey, here's what it is, here's what's coming.
Deonda, how do you find that? Do you find have this as an opportunity to maybe help the committee chair recruit additional adults to help with activities?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the calendar is key. When I'm speaking with potential scouts and their families, they want to know, what do you guys do? When does it happen? Like myself, I'm a planner and I need things in my calendar, and keeping it up to date also is really important because things happen and sometimes we have to shift as a pack and cancel and reschedule. So making sure it's up to date, and again, like the reminders is really important. But parents, we can then say it's not just we're trying to get the scouts excited, we're trying to get parents excited about what's upcoming, and start saying we really like parent involvement. Maybe, look at the calendar and consider where you might fit in. What's your skill or whatever that you can bring. So I think for both, for the scouts, for the families, calendars are the key.
Thanks.
I think, sorry, George, I also think it's really, really helpful if you're a unit that does popcorn or any kind of fundraiser, we put those weekends on our calendar so people can look ahead. If they're going to be selling and doing shifts and doing booths, that's part of it. At our join night, this is what's coming up. So it's kind of a helpful tool for that as well.
Steve, looking at the evaluate and adjust at the troop level, how often do you find that something changes with the plans? Either the troop, the youth, or the adults need a little bit more time. How often do you adjust your plans or activities?
We have it's troop and two troops, girls and boys. They have patrol leader meetings where they usually flesh out once a year what our plan is, and then they adopt what they want to do monthly per their meeting. But weather sometimes impacts this. Lack of engagement often becomes a crux because we only have so many parents. But we try and keep that calendar live on our website and let everyone know what's going on and through communication with the. But yeah, we do have to change.
Thanks, Steve. So it's the assigned responsibilities, communicating the plan, and as it needs to evaluate and adjust are really critical elements to keeping the plan active and engaging for the youth and the parents. So recruitment planning. Why is recruitment planning important? Well, uh, this is a volunteer organization, and it's a volunteer membership organization. And sometimes life happens. They find other activities, they find other sports, they find other just things that they're doing. They may move at the last second. So recruitment is really important because you need to know, you need always to have that fresh people coming in. I can speak specifically to my relationship with Deonda. She was in our unit for an entire year before she and I actually spoke and met, and she's like, "What's going on?" And since I'm a notorious voluntarist, I was like, "Well," and I think that I had a little help from the committee chairs, like, you would make a great new member coordinator because you want to know, like you said, you're a planner, you want to help those folks out. And I've heard nothing but very positive things about that relationship to provide that connectivity between the unit and the new members, the new families, because it really strengthens the unit. Because when I go to the meetings with the pack and I see 50, 60, 70% of people that are brand new to the unit, makes me just really excited because I see that, hey, these guys are really doing what they need to help that. So you have to plan your recruitment and you have to be kind of deliberate with it. Um, Looking at when are your schools, when are their join nights, when does school start? All of those things are items that we're going to get into here in a bit, maybe in the next slide, about that are really important to focus on.
Hey,
Um, I'm also a strong believer in year round. If every single event, minus things that I'm doing that I can't guarantee safety, like if we're doing a water activity at the troop level, um, that's kind of it, or maybe a 50 miler. I don't think I would take a brand new group of folks out on a 50 miler, but there are opportunities for folks to have a year-round recruitment anytime. We were doing a STEM event in May a couple years ago, and a random parent walked up to me and said, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Well, we're doing a STEM activity." And it's like, "Well, what is this?" Like, "Well, this is Cub Scouts." Like, "Oh man, my son should be in." So I was like, "Hey, our next event is next Tuesday. It's 6:30." He's like, "Okay, great. I'll bring my son." That next event was a year-end celebration. So we had the kid show up for the first time. We had a bridge. He, everyone else advanced, and this new scout walked across. We put a neckerchief on him, and he joined that night. So there's never an opportunity. Never look at opportunity not to recruit. So Katie, what do you got?
I was just going to say a couple slides ago, you said assign tasks for these events that you do have as planned recruiting events. Make sure that there is someone there to talk to new people. I know there's been many times where we've planned events and the den leaders are running activities and the Cub Master or Scout Master is busy, and people come and at the end of the meeting, we're like, hey, did anybody see that new person who was here? Did anyone talk to them? So just making sure if it's an activity that you're hoping to have new people or people invited to, have one person just even being a greeter, someone who can keep track of unfamiliar faces so that you can follow back up again. Because I think we've probably lost a few opportunities just because we were all doing all the things. And it's really helpful.
Thank you, Katie. Your youth are the best recruiters. They bring their friends. Hey, man, we're going to go do this really cool thing. We're going to go sledding. We're going to go on a hike. We're going to uh, uh, go to the swimming pool. Anything that they're doing. We're going to go play disc golf. Bring their friends. Parent involvement. Um, those of you that have been to Wood Badge understand that it's I don't need to say this in a term in a specific in a derogatory term, but you drink some Kool-Aid and then all of a sudden you're always every time you get more Wood Badge people together, they're just in the same group. I find that a lot of the parents that I hang out with, the older people I hang out with, actually are scouters. So why not involve them in the process? Um, Community presence. I hate to do this again, but Katie, talk about what opportunity is available for us to do a community presence, particularly that we've recently made aware of in the last 10 days.
Well, are you talking about our Tuesday thing or throughout the summer thing? Just want
The
to stay
meal thing.
focused.
Meal
Okay.
thing.
So, actually, if anyone on this call is interested in joining in the fun, please contact me. We were able to reach out to the school districts, most of whom offer some form of free meals to students and families that need them. West Ada and Boise do it every single day at different locations and different times all throughout the district. We have gotten permission to come attend those events and run just like a little activity, whether it's making paper airplanes or just, a rain gutter regatta, or even just something fun that they're making or hanging out and learning. It can be a quick 5 to 10 minutes per kid kind of thing, but it's a great way to be able to stand there, talk to all the families. They're eating meals. That's usually one of the requirements, is that they eat on site. If you've ever had a picnic with your children, they always finish before you. So it's really great for us to have the opportunity to engage those kids and get out in the community. That way, the families, when we come there to their schools in the fall or we have join nights, they recognize us, they know us, they've seen us all summer. And across all of the different districts from Caldwell, Nampa, Valley View, Boise, and West Ada, and then also some out in Snake River District, we have just probably about 100 events this summer that you can come to for an hour, 45 minutes, and then you're done. But if you are interested, or if your unit would like to come help us out, please feel free.
And I apologize, Katie, I didn't put our contact information in this. I'll make sure it's plentiful on the website.
I
Uh,
drop it in the chat too.
Yeah, please do that. Shirley, tell us about what's going on in the Snake River area that you're intimately involved in.
Well, we're doing. They have a Chobani feed on Fridays, so kind of going what Katie was saying. We were in the park. We were able to do these activities. We got specifically invited for coming in to do activities. They have everybody meet at the park, and once a week we go there and do some kind of an activity to keep the kids engaged while they're picking up food for the weekend. I also got invited to come to the migrant school and do a presentation about scouting. And they've now added 3 grades, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade kids that we're going to be talking to. They just want to know what is available for them and to give them information in case they want to join scouting, answer questions for them. They're also, Kimberly has been looking for, they called it a mental health survival kit, and they were wanting to put in flyers of activities around the kids could be involved in, and scouting was one of those. And so we're getting our name way out there just by they're asking us to be involved.
And with that, Shirley, thank you for that, because highlighting the fun, showcasing the exciting adventures and activities that you're doing. We all have events that we're doing at our units, and it's always an opportunity. If you communicate to others, then we could be able to promote that out to folks and say, hey, let's kind of showcase. And I'm going to say a series, I don't know if it's one word or 2 words, but homeschools. Youth that are in homeschool programs don't necessarily have they may be looking for opportunities. And if we know what you guys are doing, then we may be able to say, hey, if I get a contact from someone, hey, what's going on with scouting? We can start plugging, hey, this unit's doing this activity at this place. So it really helps if you let some of us know what's going on with your unit that you'd be willing to invite guests to. That's the perfect time. I always like to believe in sharing pictures. So panning for gold, s'mores, fishing. Boys love to smell a little smoke and the weekends. So I always believe about communicating and selling the highlights of scouting. Now we're going to get into kind of the real brass tacks. So Katie put in our contact information in the the chat. Also in the chat are 2 pages. We're going to go through kind of the pack level one, but just so you know, there's also a troop level one. So Steve or Penny, if you guys want to look at these activities, these planning guides can help us organize this. I like to sit there and highlight the first item, our new member coordinator contact information. Again, a shameless plug. If your unit doesn't have one, next on June 18th, we'll be training and talking about that. It'd be a great time to have a lot of new friends learn about a new member coordinator. But the council, we're going to provide a lot of these materials, the training materials, flyers, yard signs, things of this nature. I just put in the order for that. There will be a form on the web page as soon as I get them in. I'll make a form where you guys can say, hey, this is what we're going to need for our recruitment planning. You can send me an email or send Celia an email, but there's an opportunity for you guys to put it into the website, put up an order form, and then allow us to get some time for this. This side here, talking about the youth that you have. And again, I want to refresh the troop level as well. It's always good to know the number of kids that you have. Sometimes we find that with our facilities get a little bit tight if we get to certain sizes. 40 is super awesome, 20 is healthy, 10 or below is I've got some struggles, and that's kind of just regardless of any type of unit that we have. So you'd want to say, hey, this is where we are. And if the goal is we want to have 10 youth in each goal, say we got 5 lions, our goal is 10, we need 5. So that kind of helps the units at the annual planning sessions to say, these are kind of some of our recruitment goals that we're looking at to do. So it's kind of important to know where you are and understand where you want to go. You don't have to do it, it's not saying, oh, you have to do everything, but it just gives your guys a focus. So when you're talking to schools, you're like, hey, we need to target the 2nd grade or the 3rd grade more than maybe the Lions or Tigers because we've got 15 Tigers in the troop or the pack, excuse me. My brain gets fried sometimes. The next item I want to talk about is over here on this side. Again, as Katie mentioned, we talked about who is doing what and where, but I like this one here because I mentioned earlier, recruitment isn't just one or 2 months a year, it's year round. So always, if you're planning your annual planning and say, hey, these are the months that we want to have join events and join nights, you can schedule those throughout the year because at the troop level, it's not necessarily too much of a challenge for youth to come in at any point in time. At the pack level, there may be some merit to not joining new youth after if completion and everyone wants to do their rank advancement, there might be some times where say, well, gosh, I don't know if we have enough time to get them in. But if just them getting the program and the scouting, it's always the right time to get them in the program. And I look at the having a new parent orientation. This is at the committee, the parent committee lead level and the engagement of adults. This is equally, if not as important as the join nights, because this is where you talk to your parents and you say, hey, this is what we really want to do. This is what we really want to help out with. And it gives you that opportunity to really get to know folks, talk to them about kind of like, this is what we go on campouts, because I know that sometimes we have families that when it's their first camp out, they don't know all of the rules. Like, don't bring a dog, don't bring motorized vehicles. If you're not if your youth aren't registered, particularly at the troop level, they're not allowed to come. So it's those parent meetings that gives us the opportunity to convey that information to folks. What do you got, Miss Katie?
I was just gonna say, what my experience was the first time when I went to one, not growing up in scouting, it was a fire hose of so many things that were vocabulary I didn't have. I had no idea what they were saying. I I loved that they were having a meeting and I could get to know people, but really think through it and plan out who's presenting what. When we had it, there was one person who just kept talking the whole time and didn't really stop to breathe, and we got like 50 handouts, and it was, like I said, it was a fire hose. But when we did it again, I talked about new member stuff. So where do you find, uniform stuff? Are you registered? What happens with your dues? Then we had someone talking about how kids advance throughout the year and how that works. Like, it really, just be mindful of what information is really necessary and give them that first piece and get to know them. They don't have to know everything about the entire program day one. You scare them away.
So, Steve, Penny, I know you both are at the troop level. Would something like this help as you guys are doing your annual meeting for, for the year? It kind of, particularly at the committee level. I know the Scoutmaster and the youth kind of do the program side, but would this help you guys say, hey, this is our strategy or our opportunities for recruitment? Do you think this could be of help?
Yeah, I do. Are you talking specifically about the new member coordinator?
Just
Or
in general, kind of like this whole format, this whole keeping things, having an opportunity to write some goals down, to write some information down, so you're tracking, hey, these are opportunities for success.
I mean, it's a typical business protocol that you're laying out, so it makes a lot of sense. I think it's just challenging because we're all volunteers and we're all just trying to surf the wave from week to week. As
Yep.
much as we can, we get ahead of it, and then off to other things. But yeah, some strategy would help.
Okay. It's just 1 hour a week, wink. Um, so, um, so this is, I'm going to embed this into into the council website as well as a tool we can use. Like you said, Steve, we're all volunteers. We're all trying to just ride the wave, but it's an opportunity for us to really think about what it could look like for us to grow and recruit. So specific activities, school nights and join nights. I'm not going to stand up and do the whole what a good school night would look like. Katie could probably do what a great scout join night would look like. We talked about the community events. But in last week we talked, yeah, it was last week, we talked about bring a friend events. Um, and then cruise high adventure demonstrations, and that could be like, hey, we're going to go on this rock, well, no, it had to be a specific, we're going to like a rock jam or something like this to get other youth engaged. um who knows about an explorer post is that isn't named Shirley? Does anyone know what an explorer post is? Okay, what is it, Steve?
Well, it seems to be, from what I'm seeing, is some of the scouts that eagle out or trying to move on, get more career-oriented opportunities. They join an explorer post. We've had several scouts do it.
In essence, yes, explore posts are they're 14 to 21, and it's the opportunity for youth to engage in a career field like medical, business. There's several levels of technology, there's skills trades. But here's where it's a little bit different in that the people that come in, they're not den leaders, they're not assistant scoutmasters. These are actual career professionals in the field. And there are opportunities for the youth to really learn about what's going on in that career field. And it's an underutilized opportunity within scouting in general, and this council specifically. And anytime I can promote just a smidge about career posts, those are things that we want to target as a council moving kind of forward. Strategies, particularly with the Weeblos, help them transition to BSA. Work closely with the packs. Typically, having a den leader, or a den chief assigned to the pack would be great. We have a social media and a marketing contact training coming up. I believe I've looked at the calendar. I think it's the first training in June or July will be about our social media and you and how you guys can maximize that. We'll talk a little bit about beascout.org because there's a lot of good and some challenges with the Be a Scout, whether people are following up on the leads. School presentations, community events. Katie talked a little bit about that. And our invite a friend activities, having our youth recruit their friends and stuff, and families. We can invite our friends and families because I looked at my phone, I was like, hey, there's 17 people in my bees that aren't in scouts. I should probably contact them. So it's opportunities for us to invite friends for the youth and as the adults. But these are kind of some strategies that you can periodically sprinkle throughout your kind of your recruitment planning. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these links, but you see that they're all kind of blue or pink, purple. I'm colorblind. This one I added up here, and it's going to take you to a video. We're not going to play the video because of the matrix will break on us. But this video gives you how to set up and update your unit pin. This is important because I want to stress, I cannot stress this enough. The unit pin is what Scouts BSA, it's where the My Dot Scouting folks go. So the Be a Scout links. Oh, there it was. There it was. Come on. Yeah. So whenever you go to Be a Scout, and I always do this because I know what this unit's going to say because I've seen them all the time. This is where if people get here, they can provide information about this. So this is where your link is. Some units aren't necessarily up to date. This video will help units get up to date. How you do that is you have to go through My Dot Scouting, and there's a whole training on this, but there's opportunities for you guys to do this. Why I'm stressing on this is units, people say, hey, how do I join scouting? They'll go to Be a Scout, do exactly what I just did, and then start trying to gather information. The number of leads that have come in that don't get looked at is significant enough that this is a constant refrain. The units need to update their PIN and continue to monitor those because by the time it's 7 days, those leads can be assigned to someone else. And if anyone's ever done sales, you want to work your leads while you've got them. But there's information about the scouting, the Boy Scouts. This is the troop leader stuff we talked about, exploring resources. Here's venturing resources, commissioner tools. I put this on here because there's a lot of just scouting is an iceberg of information and you just never know what you don't know. And this is an opportunity to find out, oh, there's other things there. And then what was this last one here? And this is the brand center. This will be really relevant when we're talking about our marketing side, but these are some really relevant links for scouting and our units. So at this time, I'm going to leave it up to you guys. What questions or thoughts or comments do you have about planning and particularly kind of thinking about recruitment in your annual planning?
I have a question, kind of for the group. I know when we go about our planning, obviously the budget's always part of it, but we also project goals for what we need to make in fundraising if we want to do everything we want to do. So we go through, we talk about events that we've had in the past, how much they cost, and then how many scouts we have, how much we know we're going to bring in with dues. And then we say, okay, if we want to do all these things, here's the requireds, here's the want tos, how much do we have to raise? And it really helps us move forward through the year because if we've already advertised these are things we want, then at our first meeting we say, hey, if this all sounds great and y'all want to do it again, we need your help. We need to make sure we can do this. And I don't know how many people include that fundraising projection in their planning, but I know it really helped us kind of narrow down the activities we wanted to do and how we were going to do them. Does anybody else do that?
Troop 100 has a potato sale that is pretty consistent with the dollar amount. Just really what it depends on is how many kids we have in the troop, which is a certain dollar amount per bag per kid. If they sell 10 bags and we bring in $300 or so, but per child. But it's that it flexes every year, right? So it's a moving target.
But so my question would be, do you ever sit down and say, hey, we really want to go do this. It's going to cost us $500 more because we've never done it in the past. And then included that when you're talking about fundraising, hey guys, we're setting a huge goal this year. So it helps kind of motivate our kids to sell more and do things just because we include it as a goal. So I was just curious if anybody like communicates that to their scouts and explains why we're doing this and how they benefit.
Katie, I have seen that one of the units that I know and talk about, they say, hey, do we want to do a concierge year, basically where the unit pays for everything? If that's the case, then they say this is our goal for fundraising. And it's like if we want to, if the parents don't, don't necessarily want to, and the youth don't want to engage in that, then this is what the unit will pay for, and then we'll have to come in and ask the parents throughout the year if the youth are going to participate in other events. So there have been that's kind of a very wise strategy, so that you can say, what kind of unit do we want to be from a funding perspective? And then it really sets those goals for the fundraising, single fundraiser or multiple fundraisers. It kind of gives you guys that target to look at. So does anyone else have any other thoughts, any other comments? Hi, O or Mr. Koa. I see you back there just hanging out on your mom's hip. So hello. Yeah.
Say hi.
Well,
Hi.
all right.
Hey, I was just gonna say, George, I don't know if this is the right venue, but just thinking about more recruiting.
Mhm.
And you guys might have already been doing this, but I'm a big sister with Big Brothers Big Sisters as well. And I know that there are events, like I've recruited our car club to do their trunk or treat.
Yeah.
And so I think there are some events if we're not already at.
Deonda, I think I've met with them before, and it was one of my ticket items, but I didn't necessarily follow up with them very, very, very significantly, mostly for the purpose that we were looking at them from a different request. But I think where we stand now, that might be something that we can look at. Deanna, can you send me some contact information, maybe do a digital introduction, and then
Yeah,
we can kind of track that down?
yeah, you bet.
Okay, perfect. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for participating in this summertime roundtable. For those of you that didn't participate, this is going to be recorded. It'll be uploaded onto the website and all of the relevant materials that we had. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for participating, and I look forward to joining you guys the next time, which will be, I believe, I have to look at the calendar. That's me looking over there, June 18th. And I do believe that is the new member coordinator training, and I may talk the least amount at that one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for participating. I'll
Thank
see you
you.
later.
George, have a good evening.
Thanks, Steve.